I didn't have those questions there, so I'll just discuss this question. So you don't have to answer. You can say for a discussion. So let's read. In a permeable pavements, if you raise the under drain outlet further close to ground to increase storage layer depth, how would it affect groundwater recharge? So it's all about under drain that outlet. So it says if you raise that under drain outlet, this one will go become taller. If this height increases, what would happen to the groundwater recharge? It's going to increase or decrease or no change. Let me see if I can have the polling. So what I'll do is for groundwater. What I'll do is I'll just, without question, I'll just see A, B, C. Without question, you'll just answer whatever that number you can think of. Okay, save. Okay, so let's see. I pull. Okay, so the question is what you saw in my slide, but now I create a poll. You tell me what you think, So the question was, is the permeable pavements, do I see the, do you see this, my screen for the question? So the question was, if you increase the under drain outlet further close to ground, if you raise the under drain outlet further close to ground, means you increase the height, what will happen to the groundwater flow rate? It will, option A is no change, option B is increase, option C is decrease. So if you raise the outlet, what it does, it increase the height of that water ponding. So if you have a pond with more water in it, would it push the water down fast, more or less? That's way to think about it. So infiltration into ground is more about, think of what drive infiltrations based on Darcy's law. That's the Q. Q is K I A. Area is the area of your permeable pavements. That doesn't change anything by raising the outlet. K, hydraulic conductivity. That's about what's the hydraulic conductivity of that medium. That doesn't change by outlet. That doesn't control it. Only thing changes I, which is dH over dl. So if you are saying how much water that goes through here in between this layer, then your height is increasing. That height difference is, if you have more head above it, that means that water table, the pressure of the water at this point is much higher. So that means it's going to push. So it is going to increase the groundwater infiltration. So option B is the correct answers. So I end the poll. I'm going to relaunch again, but let's say, do you see my screen, or you don't see the screen for the assessment question?
We can see it.
Okay, so the question was, permeable pavements can remove dissolved pollutants from stormwater. Is this true or not? So I'm going to rerun the poll. So you have option A, true or yes. Option B, false. That means it doesn't remove dissolved pollutants. Permeable pavement can remove dissolved pollutants. That's the statement. Either it's true or it's false. Think of what permeable pavements are designed for. They are designed for allowing water to move as quickly as possible. So only thing they remove very well, or they can do remove well, is sediment. And that's how it doesn't go. And sediment is not a dissolved pollutant. For dissolved pollutant to be removed, the materials that is used in the permeable pavement has to have strong affinity for dissolved pollutant, and second, the water has to move slowly enough for them to attach. So one other thing we learned in the class, that permeable pavements, water moves very quickly. So even you have materials, the dissolved pollutant would not have time to interact with. So if the statement is permeable pavement can remove dissolved pollutant, that statement is not correct. So the correct answer is um, B. It's a false statement. Next question. So I'm going to read once again. The question was, what are the two design features you would add to either increase contaminant removal or prevent groundwater contaminations? So there are a couple of things you could do to improve contaminant removal or prevent groundwater contamination. Let's pick up one at least now. So what you want to do, what's the change you can make in these particular pictures that will increase groundwater contamination, prevent groundwater contaminations? Let's say increase contaminant removal. What you can do in this particular picture, there is nothing that can remove pollutants. So what you can do here, I think you have to write something. So it's not a, so you can write on the chat window. Um, I got one answer from Nishant. It was correct, but it was shared privately, so you don't know what he wrote. Um, any other choices? How do you improve contaminant removal? So think of what layer that improve contaminants removal. Reservoir course is not necessarily removing contaminant. Yes, so you want to add the filter course. Okay. Um, so that's one way you can remove filter contaminant removal. But now next question is, how do you prevent groundwater contaminations? Either adding filter layer hopefully will remove everything, all the pollutant, but if that's not the case, you want to protect groundwater from the infiltrated water. So that means you can add a geotextile membrane here so that there is no infiltrations. So that means you are preventing any kind of groundwater infiltration to occur in here. So those are just two reasons. You can have other things like, let's say you want to prevent groundwater contamination. That's one thing. And second is adding filter which has high capacity to remove pollutant. That way you can assume that most of the pollutants are removed before it goes there. And yeah, so these are the, let's see, that's the answers. Yes. So now that you learn how it works and all that process, let's think of, let me stop the, do you see my screen? I can't see it. So let me